Hey everybody, welcome to the third episode of the 80s Still Scream. I'm Lionel VHS. I'm so happy to be here with you guys. Once again, I have my buddy Jerry Smith here with us once again. Jerry, what's up?
Holler!
We are here today to talk about something that happened in the 80s that was a big part of horror history that, if you're a horror fan, you are completely familiar with, but a lot of people might not be. It's called the Video Nasties. And
so nasty.
The Video Nasties. It was this little incident, this little period of time in the United Kingdom where things were getting banned left and right. We're going to get into that in a minute. But first of all, I want to just talk about our last episode for those of you that have been listening. And before anything, I want to thank everybody for listening. I've gotten a lot of good comments on YouTube. I've gotten comments on Facebook. Thank you guys for listening. We have had about 130, 140 visits to our YouTube page, and for that I thank you. If you like what you hear, I'm just letting you guys know right now. Go ahead and share it.
Subscribe.
Yeah, subscribe or share the links on your Facebook. Let everybody know what we're doing. We're having a great time bringing this to you guys, so I hope you all like it. So let's recap what we did in our last episode. We were talking about how mom and pop video shops were so important to all these little independent and these little known horror films. Because of these mom and pop places, you know, people started watching these more. They started getting a cult following and all this good stuff. And, you know, all these movies gained such a broader audience because of, you know, VHS rental outlets that were everywhere. Now, in the United Kingdom, it was a little bit different. There were shops, just like there were here, every corner, but they were treated a little bit differently. You know, all these low-budget horror movies that we knew and loved here were getting, you know, they were getting placed into these mom-and-pop video stores in the UK. People started renting them. Well, it wasn't too long before after that people were not happy with them. And it sounds funny to say now that how could people not be happy with, you know, horror movies, especially horror fans. But what happened was all these movies were becoming banned because people in the United Kingdom had this weird idea that kids, when they're 8, 9, 10 years old, were getting a hold of these things, were watching them without people knowing. And there was this moral panic where people thought, oh, my God, if these kids keep watching these movies, they're going to turn out to be criminals. They're going to turn out to be killers. They're going to turn out to be rapists. And it was, if you read about this sort of
Victor
thing.
Salva fans.
Yeah, exactly. I'm sorry. But if they watched enough of these, you know, there was going to be this, I don't know, this change in the way these kids grew up, and they were going to be housing all these criminals and all that good stuff. But now, what a lot of people don't know, there was not a type of, how can I put it, certification process on these films like we have here. You know, we have, you know, R-rated.
The MPAA.
The MPAA. Over there, they had it for films, but they didn't have it for video. Mm-hmm. So all these movies that we knew here were getting released without a classification over there. So people can go into any video store, anywhere, anytime, any place, and rent them. Even kids, you know, which I found kind of strange that kids were renting these too, or they were having, you know, people that were older renting them for them, which, like my case, was here. And what started this whole thing was Abel Ferrara's Driller Killer.
I love that movie.
I love that movie. It's so bizarre and so weird.
I love all of his stuff, to be honest.
Miss 45.
Miss 45 is probably one of my 10 favorite movies of all time.
He's got a good catalog.
Yeah.
And what started this thing was Vipco, Video Instant Picture Company, which is one of the largest video distributors in England at the time, put out a full-page ad for the Driller Killer. But I don't know if they did this on purpose, or I don't know if they knew what they were doing, but they put out a full-page spread with the original cover art for this thing.
The drill in the head?
Yeah, with this guy getting the scene where he gets that bum in the street and sticks the drill through his forehead. Yeah. It's a still shot of that scene, and people just went nuts. The Advertising Standards Agency was getting calls. Mm-hmm. They were like, what the hell is this? Why are you printing this stuff? And all of a sudden, people started becoming more aware of this stuff that was going on.
Yeah.
And it was just this backlash that just started happening little by little by little.
It was kind of like Silent Night, Deadly Night in the U.S.
Yes, exactly. That's a good example. Yes.
Yeah.
And there were so many complaints going to this ad agency that they had to step in and say, hey, this is not cool. We need to stop marketing this to, kids that can get a hold of this material. Go Video in the UK actually got wind of all this that was going on, that the Driller Killer was now getting publicity.
Mm-hmm.
People who didn't know what these movies were now finding out what they were. And what they did, they said, okay, we're going to ride this bandwagon so we can get some attention. So they took out an ad for Cannibal Holocaust.
Oh, no.
And everybody who has seen, Cannibal Holocaust knows that that's a movie that you don't play with.
Yeah, it's also a movie you don't watch because it's pretty awful.
That's one of those few films that I've seen in my career and my love for horror. I've seen one time. I have no reason to see it again.
Yeah,
I did it.
I'm not a fan, to be honest. Like it's always like said to be like a classic and stuff. I've seen it a few times and I'm just not into it.
Yeah,
I prefer Green Inferno. I'm just joking, guys.
I prefer the. Never mind, I'm not gonna go there. But
yeah, no, I understand.
But the cool thing about this, they went a step further.
Yeah.
They actually said, okay, we're going to take this a step further. Not only are we going to put an ad out for Cannibal Holocaust and we're going to advertise it.
Oh, no.
We're going to write a fake letter to Mary Whitehouse, who was the founder of the National Viewer and Listeners Association, to complain about their own freaking movie.
That's funny.
And they're like, okay, we'll get some publicity this way. And what they failed to realize that this thing was going to freaking backfire on them.
Well, yeah, they got arrested.
This woman,
Yeah.
this lady turned around, and this is what began the whole censorship thing in the UK. She started this moral campaign against these movies. Oh, take these movies away from kids. Kids are getting their hands on them. Kids are going bad.
Yeah.
We're afraid that these kids are going to be this and this and that, and we need to keep these video nasties away from these children. Mm.
Is she the one that coined that term?
You know what? I'm trying to think if she coined it. I want to say yes.
Because it's a really awful term.
It's a horrible term.
Video nasty. That just sounds like a Janet Jackson video. Like, they could have come up with something a little, wittier.
What? I like the sound of that.
What's up? This is TRL, Video Nasty. Well, TRL was kind of the 90s. Never mind.
I was trying to think of a joke to go with it. Video nasty.
Well, like Kurt Loder would have said Video Nasty or something. Remember that guy?
Kurt Loder, MTV News? Yes, of course. All of a sudden, there was this, moral panic, this fear, and now this whole thing she was starting, ban the video nasties, ban the video nasties. Every time you looked into the newspaper, there was some article about them, how to get rid of them, how do we do this, how do we stop kids from getting, their hands on them.
Yeah.
And all of that turned into bringing about the Video Recordings Act of 1984. Everybody knows what that is. Mm-hmm. It's this thing that was put in place by the British government saying, okay, any movie that is put out on video has to be reclassified.
Jesus.
That's like us here in the U.S. Okay, we saw Friday the 13th in the theater. It was rated R. Yeah. But when it comes out on video, it's got to go through the MPA again.
It's going to be like rated G.
Well.
Jason's going to be like Bambi's mom.
Well, it's like a lot of these movies that have, in the past had, X ratings.
Yeah.
In the
Johnny
70s.
Be Good. Remember that?
The one with Robert Downey Jr.?
You remember that?
Oh, my God.
Johnny Be Good. They had like a rated X version before NC-17 was created.
Oh, my God. Don't. Ooh.
Yeah, that's right. I go way back with Downey.
Now, can you just imagine that if we had to do that?
Yeah.
Let's say, the guys that gave the original Friday the 13th an R rating.
Yeah.
It goes back through
and
when it comes out on video, and they're like,
cut
oh, you know
everything.
What? We don't. Yes, exactly. Let's cut it up more, and let's
cut out the snake being killed.
Well, actually, it's funny that you said that. In Britain, that was a no-no.
Well,
anything that was animal cruelty was absolute.
No, any cruelty. The thing about the British people and the government is that they were completely chill with sexual stuff, because it's the opposite with America. The BBC and all those people, they were fine with sexual stuff, but it was the violence that really offended them. Yes. Whereas in the U.S., we are prudes.
Because I can't imagine.
Exactly.
I can't imagine watching a movie that's rated PG-13 in the theater, and then
Yeah.
when it comes out on video, it's now R-rated.
Yeah.
But how if we saw it, and that's how it was in Britain. All these movies that have been seen and screened in movie theaters all across the country,
Yeah.
were now coming back on video, cut,
Yeah.
sliced
Heavily
up,
cut,
heavily
too.
cut. I mean, to where it was no longer the same film.
Yeah, like they cut Jason out of the whole movie.
Right? Everything.
They're like, who's killing these people?
And then all of a sudden, the government started coming and saying, okay, you know what? We saw these movies, which honestly, now that I think about it,
Yeah.
I don't really think they did. I think they went by either what they saw on the cover
Yeah, they didn't watch them.
or what was in the synopsis in the back, because there's so many of these films that I'm thinking to myself, okay, if they had sat down and watched, you know,
Then they would know The Evil Dead is one of the best movies of all time.
well,
That Army of Darkness is
Yeah.
or these
right?
movies that are absolutely completely stupid and absurd,
Yeah.
and you watch it and be like, okay, I don't see how that is going to inspire anybody to do anything bad at all. I'm surprised that they still have the left half of their brain after sitting through such an atrocity.
Yeah.
You know, and
Because a lot of the video nasties, I mean, you know, respect to the people that made them, a lot of the video nasties are really just bad movies.
horrible.
Horrible.
Absolutely horrible.
Yeah.
And a lot of these movies were to the point where, like, okay, we're not even going to let anybody rent these
Yeah.
anymore. And there's still, a lot of people don't know this, but still 2017, there's still a couple of films from the 70s and 80s that are still banned completely.
Well,
to
dude,
this
the
day.
Texas Chainsaw Massacre, what, finally was released uncut in the or in the UK, like what, like 10 years ago, 12
Yeah,
years
like
ago?
Last House on the Left, just like within the last 10 years,
That's
we
insane.
they finally get to see the thing the way we saw it from the very beginning.
Yeah.
You know, because I saw that movie.
I remember being a kid and being like, is he really telling her to piss her pants?
Yeah,
Like,
did he really?
the
carve-
UK people didn't have the privilege of seeing someone say, piss your pants.
or see the scene where, you know, Crew carves his name into that
Yeah.
poor girl's neck. I mean, all that was completely cut out. I mean, people got these watered down versions of these fantastic movies.
And that's the thing, like, you should never get a watered down version of a film like Last House on the Left, because Last House on the Left it's made to shock you. It's made to make you feel this kind of emotion towards these characters, because it's really, you know, like pointing a light at these atrocities that are happening.
I mean, we all know that the whole symbolism behind Last House on the Left was, you know, about the government and how it was oppressing people. We
Vietnam
get
and
that.
a bunch of those
You know,
stuff. Yeah.
but if you are unfortunate to not see that, I mean, all
Mm-hmm.
you see is these three thugs, these poor two
with
girls.
bad perms.
Very bad perms.
Yeah.
Sorry. You know, all you see is the visceral side of it, and it just freaked a whole bunch of people out. And I think that sucks because I can't imagine what it would have been like in the 80s here had we gone through that type of censorship.
And we didn't. Like, I remember being a kid, like, really early on, like, when my parents were still together. And my parents got divorced when I was, like, 5 or 6. So, I mean, one of my earliest memories is, like, my mom and dad renting, like, you know, Gore Girls, the Herschel Gordon Lewis movie. And, like, I Spit on Your Grave.
Nice.
All these movies, they rented these. And I remember being a kid being like, oh, my God, this is dangerous. But it's kind of cool, you know, that my parents are into this.
You know, I Spit on Your Grave, now you said that, I don't know if I told the story before or not in the past.
Uh-huh.
When we had our CED player,
Yeah.
when we got the VCR, my dad no longer found a use for it.
Yeah.
So he sold it to an aunt of ours, his younger sister,
Yeah.
along with the whole collection that we had. Well, I remember it was a couple weeks later, we were outside of church, after church, talking to our cousins, and we were close to their van, and they had some CEDs in there. I don't know if they had rented them or they had bought them, but
It was
one
the best
of them,
of Carmen.
she wasn't that cool. Trust me.
Yeah,
She wasn't that cool. She had, and I remember to this day grabbing it and thinking to myself, what the hell is this woman doing with this movie? She had the CED version of I Spit on Your Grave.
Oh, no.
And I'm thinking to myself, oh my God.
That movie it doesn't play around.
No. One. Two, what the hell does my aunt have this thing doing
Especially
in her?
the cover, like walking into that, you kind of know what's going on, you know? Like, even the tagline.
You can't tell me that you're looking at that movie.
I mean, like, oh man, this is going to be like, I don't know.
Romance in the Stone.
Yeah, this is going to be Romance in this Town. This is going to be like Muppets Take Manhattan.
And I always thought to myself, exactly, why did they have this? I mean, had they been curious about that film?
Yeah.
Did they just walk into the store and see it and
They
said,
love Demi Moore as the cover
Thank you. I was just gonna say that.
Right.
They enjoyed looking at Demi Moore's butt. A lot of people don't know this, but if you don't know, the cover of I Spit on Your Grave, the girls behind, the very infamous and very wonderful cover. Yeah, I'll have to agree with you on that one. The misleading tagline on the cover.
Yeah, no one is burned.
But that is Demi Moore's butt.
It is.
And I don't know how she did that, the who, what, when, or why.
Yeah.
But when I found out that was her butt, I was like, what the... She probably did that the same day she was shooting Parasite.
Well, do you remember that? Because I told you about that, and then we met at Camille Keaton that same weekend, and you asked her, right? And what was that whole thing?
Well, I did ask her. I'm like, a lot of fans have a question about the poster and the tagline and everything. And I said, and I went about it this way. I said, hey, did you pose for that? And she laughed.
She signed elsewhere on the poster, right?
Yes. She laughed, and she said, no, that's not me. That is another famous person. And I was like, really? Tell me. And she's like, from what I know, that is Demi Moore's body that is on that poster. She was, I think she said it was before her first film.
Yeah.
So I want to say she did that before
the modeling years.
Yeah, her modeling years right before she started filming Parasite with her husband. So that was really cool to hear it from her mouth, saying that, hey, yeah, the rumor is true. That is her. That's her.
Insane.
But
I'm gonna have to watch G.I. Jane again now. Just kidding, guys. I hate that movie.
Or you can just watch Ghost.
Mortal Plots.
Or you can just watch Ghost again.
Oh my God! Don't tempt me. Anyone who has listened to this, if you don't know me by now, Ghost is my second favorite film of all time.
You will never, ever know him.
Damn, baby, what'd you do to your hair? It's autumn sunrise. I love that movie more than my children. I will sell my kids if it means Ghost will stay in print.
Molly, you in danger, girl.
Molly, you in danger, girl. Say my name. Say my name. Sam Wheat. Say my name. Sam Wheat.
I just had to. But like, but I always wondered what the hell they were doing with that. And then when I finally got to sit through the movie after I turned 18 and was able to get my hands on it.
Ghost? No, I'm just joking. I know, I'm just joking.
I'm sorry, Ghost we saw in high school.
Well, yeah.
It was one of those days the day before Christmas vacation, and nobody wanted to do anything.
Do you remember those video stores that would come out, like these little, like, not magazines, but these little printouts of, like, all the movies that are coming out?
Yes!
I used to keep the one with Ghost on the cover in my desk in 4th grade or 5th grade or whatever, like, for, like, 5 months. Just because I loved Ghost. I would keep that magazine in my desk. Yeah, that's why I never had a date in grade school.
God, I'm old.
You should have been dating in grade school.
Dude, I got some crazy stuff going on in grade school.
Yeah, it was the last day before Christmas vacation. I want to say I was... Oh, God. I want to say I was a junior in high school because it was already long out on video. And we had a teacher who didn't want to do anything that day. Said, screw it. I'm not giving y'all nothing. Here's a movie y'all can watch.
I Spit on Your Grave?
No, go.
Oh, shit. I was like, oh, my God. That is a cool teacher.
And we saw Ghost for the first time.
Really?
Yeah, and it was great.
In junior high?
No, it was high school. I was in
high school. Yeah, sorry. I saw that in the theater, man, and even as a kid, I just thought it was the greatest thing of all time. And what's funny is we're talking about Ghost on the Video Nasties episode.
Yeah. Off the beaten path for you there.
Yeah, sorry, Carl.
It's all good. It's all good. So when all this started happening, the government said, okay, these films are so bad.
Yeah.
We're going to prosecute some of these for obscenity.
Jesus Christ.
I mean, if you want to, hey.
Well, the Cannibal Holocaust people, they got arrested because they thought they were actually killing people, right?
Yeah, because that whole, what do you call it?
I wish that would happen in the U.S. and people would, like, arrest Eli Roth just for killing good taste.
Hi-yo.
Sorry, Eli. You know a lot about horror movies, but you don't make good ones.
I'm going to quote Alaska Thunderfuck here and say... Burn. but I will agree with you on that, though. I will.
Yeah. What is
100%. Alaska Thunderfuck?
I only know that as a strain of pot.
It's a drag queen. She's a
drag
drag queen from
man.
RuPaul's Drag Race, very famous. But she named herself after that, yeah.
Educating our sound guy right now.
He does not very... See, but the sound guy knows about pot. He doesn't know about drag queens.
Well, hold up. So,
everyone listening to this podcast knows about drag queens. Zach Shilwager, I'm talking to you, man.
You should. I'm the host. Hello.
Yeah, right?
So, along with Alaska Thunderfuck,
that name.
there's also a Rue girl named Laganja Stranja.
What?
So there's two drag queens.
Laganja Stranja?
It's a strain of pot too. So we have two girls that are named after pot, but that's
Both strains, by the way.
that's a different Jenny Jones episode.
I named every one of my kids after marijuana, actually. I didn't at all. I'm just trying to sound cool, guys. Sorry.
Yo, this is my.
I'm like, this is the Dexter strain.
I was gonna say
No, my kids are named after like weird stuff.
This is my child bubble.
Right? No, my oldest is named after The Little Mermaid because it's my second favorite Disney movie of all time. Beauty and the Beast represent. My son is named after Dexter, the TV show about the serial killer, and my daughter is named after the famous Black Dahlia murder. Not the band, but the actual murder. So when she grows up, she'll probably want to kill herself. Sorry, Dolly.
And poor Derek, you pretty much damned him from the beginning too.
Dexter? Yeah, no, dude, he's screwed. When my ex was giving birth to him, the nurses were like, "Oh, is he named after the cartoon Dexter's Laboratory?" And I was like, "No, it's the show where the guy kills people." Oh.
But how cool would it be if he grew up to be a serial killer of serial killers?
Oh, I hope my son grows up to be a serial killer because I will push him and be like, okay, this person needs to die. Can you do this for me? Because I don't want to go to jail. But if you go to jail, I'll just say, oh, my son's troubled.
Or we'll say you were here all night.
Exactly. I will cover for you. There are so many like
guys. My phone's ringing. Hold on.
Yeah,
hold on. Hello. Hi, creepy. Yeah, hold on. He's right here. Hold on.
There are so many people with like I don't know goatees and really bad like 21 Pilots fascinations that my son needs to kill.
Oh my god.
Kill them. Mama.
Sorry, everybody. We've gone way off topic, but that's okay because we're having a really good time, and I hope you guys are too.
Yes, definitely.
Okay, so with
Video Nasties,
with the government wanting to prosecute these movies for obscenity, which I think was anyway.
Yes.
They made two lists. They made the list of 39 that they were going to prosecute.
39.
Well, there's actually
They have way too much time on their hands.
There's 72 total. Thank you. They have 72 total.
Yeah.
They have 39 of the ones that were going to prosecute and 33 that weren't prosecuted but were still either cut to shit or completely banned altogether.
Yeah.
And
like they cut all the chainsaws out of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
It was
the Texas Bobby Pin Massacre.
Leatherface doesn't have a chainsaw anymore. It's like the Texas Massacre.
Watching this video like a knob.
Sorry, any British viewers, we're awful. It's like, oh,
and
dog will hunt, but not with the chainsaw.
And we're not making fun because my brother and I are huge British comedy fans.
Yes, Fawlty Towers.
Yeah. So we're not making fun. It's an homage.
We are.
It's a homage.
It's not a question of wearing crypts.
So with this episode,
why
what
does
I wanted
he
to
have
do,
a mask made of faces? Sorry.
I forgot what I was going to say now. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So what I want to do is I want to talk about these 39 movies that were prosecuted because
I do too.
There's a whole bunch of them, all 39, but I'm only pulled
39.
out. We're not going to talk about all 39.
So many.
No, we're not going to talk about all 39.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about the best ones.
Okay.
At least in my opinion, what the best ones are.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot to talk about of them. You know, the who, the what, why.
The when, the where.
Sort of.
And the what,
Yeah.
Yeah,
and
why
the
they
WTF.
were banned. Okay, so first thing I want to start with is absurd. So I'm going to do these in alphabetical order. So the first two I'm going to start with, and the reason why I'm starting with two this time is because one is a sequel and one is the actual original film. But we're going to talk about Absurd and Anthropophagus the Beast.
Okay.
I know you've seen both of those.
Yes.
They both fucking suck.
They're awful.
They're horrible.
They're awful.
How these two made it onto this list, and I'm probably going to have this opinion with a lot of these movies.
Yeah.
How did they make it onto this list? I mean, if anybody has seen Anthropophagus the Beast, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It's George Eastman, this Italian, big, tall Italian guy, who plays this cannibalistic killer that lives on this remote island out in the Caribbean or something. And these people, classic story, people are on a boat, they get stranded on this island, meets a killer.
Yeah.
This movie is freaking horrible. This is how horrible the movie is. It has its reputation.
Yeah.
Okay, it has it because of course the fetus eating scene.
Yeah.
And then the ending where his guts fall out of his body and he re-eats them. Okay, whatever.
I do that every Friday.
When I found this double disc set that Shriek Show released,
yeah,
supposedly it was like the Ultimate Edition, blah blah blah, whatever. So I bought it because I'm like,
ultimately awful.
oh my god, I'm finally have this movie. I'm finally gonna get to watch it. Dude, I fell asleep a quarter of the way through.
Yeah.
No joke. With the exception of the wonderful Zora Karova, who was in Cannibal Ferox, New York Ripper. This movie stunk.
Yeah, no, it's awful.
This movie
it's
stunk.
not a good movie whatsoever.
I thought there was going to be like this really cool tension, this really, really cool atmosphere.
The only tension that the movie has is like it's really tense about how much you want to just like jump off a bridge after watching it.
Yes, and it took me forever to sit down and sit through it again.
Oh, it's impossible.
I'm like, if this movie's going to put me to sleep,
yeah,
why should I watch it again?
Yeah.
And I ended up watching it again, and it was absolutely horrible. I don't know how this thing made it.
That's how I feel about Sucker
Excuse me.
Punch. Like, I don't want to sit through this again.
Or how Matthew feels about Showgirls. I'm sorry.
You know what?
Yes, Matt, yes,
You know
I
what,
went there.
Matt?
I went there.
You're going to have to go. Because Showgirls is the best movie ever.
And then, not only do we get this piece of shit movie, but we get a sequel. Mm-hmm. We get Absurd, which is... I forgot there was another name to it, but it's also known as Monster Hunter here in the U.S. Charles Band put it on his Wizard label.
Charlie.
And the cover, which is cool. Actually, the cover is actually pretty cool. It has nothing to do with what the movie's about.
No, not at all.
Absurd is basically an Italian alliteration of Halloween.
Oh, yeah.
That's all it is.
Yeah.
It's Halloween.
Spaghetti horror.
It's Halloween Italian style. Mm-hmm. George Eastman is in this movie again, who plays the same character. The same type of character.
Yeah.
And it's about him where, if I'm not mistaken, these doctors are after him or something because he's a killer, and every time they hurt him or shoot him, he like regenerates himself, and it's like, what the F?
Yeah.
It's horrible.
There can be only one.
You know, and I can get the whole, you know, some of the effects are pretty gruesome. But when you have a gruesome story, you have to have a story to back it up.
Yeah, there has to be at least like a semi-decent plot.
And there isn't on any of these two. Especially, like I said, I'll say it again. Absurd. If you love Halloween, and a lot of people do, I suggest looking this one up. Maya actually released this here in the United States a couple years ago on DVD, but it's called Horrible. That's the other title, Horrible.
Yes, but Halloween is my favorite movie of all time, and I don't even think it's the best horror film of all time. I think it's the best film ever created. And I've seen the movie you're talking about, and it ain't shit.
No, it's not. I mean, watch it just for the laugh value that you will get out of it, I guarantee.
Oh, you will. You will.
Not that I'm dissing George Eastman because he's great.
Like Nightmare on Elm Street 5 is Citizen Kane like compared to this movie.
Like one thing, and I talk shit about these movies, but if there's one thing that I will forever be grateful for that George Eastman did was writing Stage Fright.
Stage Fright's amazing.
Stage Fright is one of my all-time favorites.
It's great.
You want to see an Italian version of a 10 Little Indians.
Oh yeah,
you know, it is the.
I love that
best.
kind of cliche kind of approach to like a lot of films, like and then there was none 10 Little Indians thing.
Yes.
I remember showing my ex-wife Stage Fright, and she was like, "This ain't that great."
What?
And that was the night that I was like, "We're getting divorced." Because if you don't like Stage Fright, you don't like being with someone as cool as I am.
Sorry, I showed it to Matt. I showed it to Matt a couple of months
Mask.
ago, and he loved it. He loved it.
Dude, the owl.
The owl. I mean,
It's
I love
great.
it so much. I have the T-shirt of it right there. I love that movie so much.
Oh, it's great. Every time I watch it, I become that kind of loser in Jason Lives. You know, the guy that like says it's great like 40 times.
Yes.
Man, it's great. It's great while he's driving the RV. It's great.
So the next one we're gonna do,
Hit me.
Bay of Blood.
Oh my god, I love that movie.
Okay,
Do you like that movie?
Bay of Blood, Twitch of the Death Nerve.
Yes.
Oh dear Lord,
Friday the 13th.
it is
Part two.
absolutely horrible. But
What?
it's got a good story, but it's not like
It's fun.
no. I will give you that. It's a fun movie.
Okay.
One thing that a lot of people don't know about that movie, and if they do, I
It
love you
twitches
even
a
more.
lot for the Death Nerve.
I'm sorry, but Friday the 13th was
Yes.
born because of Bay of Blood. If
Yes.
there had been no Bay of Blood, there would be no Friday the 13th. Period. And
Despite what like Sean Cunningham says about not seeing it.
oh, I've never seen that movie.
Okay.
And what's his name? Frank Mancuso said we never seen it. But I think it says in, if I'm not mistaken, don't quote me.
Memories?
I think it says in Crystal Lake Memories that they didn't see it, but it was
Yeah.
their boss.
Yeah.
He was an Italian too.
The what was their name? The group of guys that kind of funded the first few movies.
Yes.
Yeah.
They had seen it. They had seen it at some slum. Oh my God, I hate when my words go. They saw it at a grindhouse in New York City, and they just loved it. And I think I did read somewhere where they had some input on the killings or whatever.
Yeah.
Without Cunningham and oh my God, Steve Miner knowing.
Yeah, Steve Miner.
I mean, because if you watch this movie, everything is Friday the 13th, from the setting.
Yeah.
From all the different murders that are copycatted. The machete in the face.
Yeah.
The double impalement. The killer at the end wearing the blue knitted sweater. I mean, come on. It's pretty obvious.
Yeah, no,
Pretty
definitely. I like Bay of Blood. I like it a lot. Like, I don't think it's a great movie by any standards whatsoever, but I have fun watching it.
If you're a slasher completist, this is where you start.
Yeah, no, definitely.
If you want to know, like, the history of the Body Count movie,
yeah,
I mean, in
great poster too.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, I like it.
If you want to find out where the slasher got its roots, I mean, really watch that movie.
Well, that's the thing. Like, obviously, every single podcast that I'm ever on, I'm gonna at least reference Halloween at least 53 times.
I think I have my counter on over here.
Oh, right. But with that being said, I mean, there are a lot of films that came before it. I mean, we could even go back as far as like Peeping Tom.
Oh my God, what a great movie!
I mean,
I forgot about that one.
Oh no, that's the thing. Like, everyone's like, oh, the POV shot, the opening of Halloween. Like, no, Peeping Tom did that way before that. And I don't want to give away any spoilers because, maybe. I mean, it's coming out like in a week or two anyways, but Jackals, the new film that Kevin Gruder directed and Jared Rivett wrote, the opening of that film is a straight homage to Halloween, the POV thing, nice. And it works so good. But like Peeping Tom, Bay of Blood, a lot of those films, they kind of predate that whole thing.
And it's so gory. Some parts of it are just so...
Oh, very much so.
And I think, if I'm not mistaken, I read that, I want to say it was Peter Cushing and Christopher Lee, one of those two, that worked with him, that worked with Bava on The Whip and the Body, went to a screening of it at the premiere, and he was so disgusted he walked out.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you haven't seen it, see it, and I don't want to ruin the ending here, but the ending, the final scene is just so inanely comical.
Yeah.
That you have to question everything that you just saw.
Don't you love those stories, though? Like, I can't remember what film it was, and I wish I really did. But there was, like, a film that, like, even Wes Craven walked out of.
Really? Which one?
Oh, God, I wish I remembered that.
Let me guess. It was the Fog remake.
I walked out of that shit.
Sorry, so did
it was a movie that really wasn't that bad, and I remember, like, reading this whole thing about Wes Craven walking out of it because he just couldn't deal with it. And it's like, dude, are you serious? You made Last House on the Left. You made Hills Have Eyes.
Was it
oh God, what was it?
Serbian film?
Bridget Jones' Diary. Hey, you better watch it, dude. I love that movie. Any adaptation of Pride and Prejudice, I'm there. And Bridget Jones was a really good one. Mr. Darcy.
Blood Feast.
Blood Feast. Oh no, I'm gonna let you take this one because I'm not a fan of that movie.
Neither am I. Good, thank you. I thought it was the only one.
It's awful.
Okay, everybody knows the premise to Blood Feast. These guys get together. There's this Aztec or something, this god that they want to bring back to life. So they have to like kill all these people. And if you, there was an 80's remake of it, sort of. I mean, everybody knows Blood Diner. Blood Diner is Blood Feast just updated.
Yeah.
I got to see Blood Feast a long time ago. It was so hokey. Yeah. Like it's so gory, it becomes a joke.
Yeah.
Kind of like what you showed me with Turbo Kid.
Turbo Kid, yeah. I love that movie.
It is so over-the-top gory that it's actually funny.
Yeah, it's hilarious.
Except for the scene where they tear that poor girl's tongue out. That part did bug me.
Yeah.
That bugged me. That stayed with me for a couple of days.
Yeah.
Oh, you know that Blood, I'm pretty sure you know this, Blood Feast is one of the first films ever to show somebody dying with their eyes open.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
It's weird that, like, there's, like, little facts like that. Like, Psycho was one of the first movies that showed, like, a woman in her bra.
Yeah.
Or, like, a toilet a toilet. Showing a toilet in a film was like a big deal back then. It's a fucking toilet, dude. It's not like somebody getting like
toilets
boned in the butt. It's a fucking toilet. It's a toilet, guys. Hitchcock, you were so transgressive.
Yeah, a little bit. Then we have Bloody Moon. Have you seen Bloody Moon?
I haven't seen Bloody Moon. I've heard a lot about that film.
It's not that good. I remember hearing about this movie, and oh my god, I can't believe I just went blank. I'm sorry, guys. Who directed it again? Joe D'Amato? Is it Joe D'Amato?
I think it might have been Joe D'Amato.
I want to say it's
I'm
Joe
not super
D'Amato.
familiar with that film. I've heard a lot about it, but I haven't seen it.
Well, okay. So this is Joe, if I'm not mistaken, it's Joe D'Amato. This is his take on an American slasher film. He saw how good or how much money that all these American producers were making with slasher films, and he's like, okay, you know what? Let me do my own version of one. Dude, it's a piece of crap.
Really?
Like, I waited and waited because for a long time you couldn't get that movie here in the United States. And when Severin finally put it out, I mean,
God bless Severin.
I love Severin. I love you guys, for real. We'll talk more about you guys in a bit. Oh, I'm sorry. It's not John. Jesus Franco. How can I confuse the two? Thank you. Jesus Franco, who's known for Vampiros Lesbos.
Jess Franco. That is one of my favorite directors.
Okay.
How did I not know that? Vampires Lesbos and all
Yes,
those movies. Those are some of my favorite films of all
Yes.
time. Love you, Jess Franco, even with your missing teeth.
Well, dude, this movie's horrible. It's so horrible. I'm not even going to get into what it's about because if you can avoid this film, do it. What this movie's known for and why I got put on the video nasty list was this beheading scene at like this sawmill. This girl gets her head, like she gets placed on, it's sort of like a whole, help me here, Snidely Whiplash with, seriously. And when I finally saw this scene, I was so pissed off at the first couple of half hours of the movie leading up to this point.
Yeah.
This scene is so freaking fake. And I mean, I know effects, blah, 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 whatever. This was so horribly done. I mean, you could tell when the head fell off, it was a goddamn mannequin. I mean, they didn't even put any extra time into like the bottom of the head to put some flesh on it, some meat to make it even.
This is one of those cuts that like it's instantly like obviously a fake.
Obvious.
Head.
Oh, I was so pissed off when I didn't finish the movie. Took the DVD out from the player and tossed it aside.
Really?
It was that bad.
I think it hit me in the head. I'm just joking.
Oh, is that what that mark is?
Yeah, right. No, pretty much.
Have you seen in Alien when they tear apart the robot? It's
Yeah.
Bilbo, and then they go
Ash.
They go to put his head back on, and it's fake, and then it's a terrible cut to him.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. It was like that.
Yeah. That's
I was so angry, and then it comes. I think it showed up on Bravo's. Oh, don't quote me. Bravo's 100 Scariest Movie Moments.
I remember that.
Okay,
Yeah.
I think it was on there. But
Yeah.
that was such a bad scene. How that movie got onto the list, I have no idea either.
Yeah.
Next, we have The Burning.
Holy hell! I cannot say like enough great things about that film. I like The Burning more than I like the first Friday the 13th.
Really?
Oh, it is so good. The Burning is my camp jam.
Wow. And I have a different opinion on that.
Okay, hit me. Let's fight.
Okay, first of all, I want to say that The Burning
Is an amazing movie. Go
is
ahead.
one of the very first horror images I ever saw.
Yeah.
The poster.
Oh, it's great.
It's right there behind you. Is the reason why it's there because it has sentimental value to me.
Yeah.
So when I finally got a hold of it, I actually
Oh boy, I'm not looking forward to this. We're gonna
first
fight.
I got it on VHS. I got it off of eBay because I
Sure.
couldn't find it anywhere.
Yeah.
Didn't watch it.
It was like the early 2000s before they properly released it on DVD. Yeah.
Right. So I didn't watch it. I don't know if it was because I didn't have time or what.
Yeah.
But there was a rumor going around that HBO was going to show the uncut version.
Mm-hmm.
And I had already known what that meant. So I went to work that night and I left my VCR recording.
Yeah.
So when I came home the next morning, it had recorded. So I sat and watched it.
Sure.
Up until, oh my God, I don't even know how to say this. Up until the
say it.
ending,
Okay.
it wasn't that great.
What?
Now, there's parts of it that I
What?
absolutely adore. You know, the Tom Savini's effects.
Yes.
Oh my God.
He passed on doing Friday 2 because of
Yes.
The Burning. He wanted to do The Burning instead.
Dude,
Written by one of the Weinsteins.
just that was one thing that came out of it. The film made history. It was the Weinstein's first project.
Yes.
Because of that film, we got Miramax
Fisher
films.
Stevens.
Yes.
Holly
Jason
Hunter.
Alexander.
Jason Alexander.
All these people got their
Great
start
Kills.
from, yes.
Amazing movie. You're completely wrong. Go ahead.
I don't know. Like, I love the whole beginning.
It's great.
It's very.
Cropsey is one of the best
It's very campy.
antagonists ever.
You know, it's very campy. I loved it. I love the
Yes.
scene where Lawrence Fishburne gets killed. No, I'm kidding. It's not Lawrence.
I was
Fishburne.
like, what? I know that movie well. He's not in that. But
The black nurse that gets
Yeah.
stabbed. Yeah, a lot of people say that's Lawrence Fishburne, but it's
the
not.
only scene in the film that I don't understand is like, the whole film, Cropsey's on a mission to kind of, exact revenge on the people that wronged him.
Right.
But then he just randomly like hires and kills a hooker. That's the only scene.
Well, that's the one thing you do when you come out of the hospital after being burned severely. You hire a
No,
hooker.
well, one time when I was in 6th grade, I was burned severely, and I came out of the hospital. I didn't get a hooker.
It's the wrong hospital.
All right, I just got the Tommy knockers on like a novel.
The story I like about this in the UK though,
Is that it's an amazing movie and you're wrong? Go ahead.
no, was that when it was released on EMI,
Yes. EMI.
EMI
What a
accidentally released the uncut version.
Yeah.
So there was this whole panic about it. It had to be pulled from shelves.
It's like
yet
Swamp
again.
Thing.
Yeah, and then they re-released it again a second time.
Yeah.
So the government had to come in and be like, "Hey, dude, what the hell are you guys doing?"
This film burns.
Yes.
Did you ever see the Mondo poster for it?
Actually, I have. It's
Oh my
gorgeous. It's
god, that's
gorgeous.
one of
It
my
is. It
favorite
is.
posters of all time.
Now, for me, I mean, I know this is very, very cliche, but I'm going to say it. The one thing that stands out for me, and will be the infamous scene with the Raft Massacre.
Oh yeah, it's
Oh my
great.
God. That is enough reason
Fisher
to watch
Stevens
the movie.
like freaking out and his fingers are getting chopped off the whole time.
Yes, I mean that is an intense little scene. The
Shears
kid
through the neck.
Yes.
Yeah.
What a great and of
You know
course,
what's funny is when Scream Factory released The Burning on Blu-ray, my friend Ken and I were watching it at my old house, and the definition was so like high and great that we were like, oh wow, we've seen this movie many times, but because of Blu-ray, we finally unfortunately see Fisher Stevens' balls through his shorts.
Oh, when they're rowing toward it. Yes, that's right.
Right?
Oh my God, I'm.
Yeah.
It looks like a baby bird.
Yeah, so that's something in Hackers and Super Mario that we weren't able to see.
Oh my God. Or in Short Circuit.
Or Short Circuit, 1 or 2. Fisher Stevens' balls, guys.
Cannibal Ferox.
Yeah. Oh god, I'm not a fan of that movie. And what's funny is, we have these monthly meetings that Lionel puts together called VHS. And one time after VHS, he gave me a DVD copy of Cannibal Ferox, and I had never seen it. And I took it home and watched it, and yeah, I hated it. I hated that movie. I'm curious what you think. Go ahead.
I don't like it. I'll tell you that right now.
Sure.
I'm not a fan of it. I like it probably merely for the historical value it
Yeah,
has. All
it's
the controversy
historically
that it caused. It's self-dubbing of, banned in 50 countries.
Yeah.
I highly doubt that because if anybody in those 50 countries actually saw the film,
They wouldn't ban
it's
it.
a
They
piece
would
of
just
crap.
ignore it.
It's a piece of crap. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. There are some scenes that don't make sense.
Yeah.
For example, the most one of all is where Giovanni Lombardo Radice gets his cock chopped off,
Yeah.
and he's screaming and screaming and screaming while he's being tied up. But yet the next day he's sitting in a canoe.
That's crazy because one
Like
time
nothing.
I got my cock chopped off and I was not sitting in the canoe the next day.
You know,
Sit in a flat bottom boat.
I had to sit in like a really uncomfortable
I don't know.
bathtub.
And I hate the movie, but I do love though. What I do love is Grindhouse's release of it that they put out a couple years ago.
Yeah.
It was great. Grindhouse, everything you guys do a fantastic job. Keep it up. All right, so now we have Cannibal Holocaust. Ugh, let's make this short and sweet.
Oh boy.
For horror enthusiasts, I say see it once, get it out of your system, and that's it. This movie is very important, it's extremely important in horror history because this movie was what many years later would bring about the found footage genre.
Yeah.
One that I hate, I can't stand. I wish every day with everything in me that this particular type of filming method would die.
Okay, but are there ones in that kind of subgenre that you do enjoy?
Yes, I do. I did like The Last Broadcast.
Oh wow, that's a good movie.
Which was the first
I like
movie
that one.
to bring that sort of genre
Yeah,
back.
everyone kind of thinks back to like Blair Witch, but Last Broadcast came out before that.
Yes,
Yeah,
came
it
out the year
was
before.
Other than the ending.
Oh, thank you. I can't
wasn't
stand
a big
the ending.
fan of the ending.
Thank you.
But
But
yeah.
everything leading up to it was great.
Oh, it's great. It's terrifying.
It's very, very, very spooky. Very
Yeah.
spooky. If you guys get a chance to see it, see it. I think it's out on DVD here in the
Yeah, it
U.S.
is.
The version
It
I
is.
have is from Britain.
Yeah.
So thankfully, I had a no what do you call it? No region-free computer at the time.
Yeah. Last broadcast.
I do enjoy Blair Witch. I'm gonna say that no matter what.
I've only seen it twice in my life. The first time I saw it is in '99, and it scared the shit out
I
of me
was
that I
gonna
didn't
say-
watch it until like 2016.
I was gonna say that movie did a number on you. I forgot you did tell me.
Yeah, I'm still terrified of that
How
movie.
many times did we go see it in the theater? We saw it like 4 or 5 times, huh?
First time was the scariest.
Oh, it's terrifying.
When we stayed at the old theater and we walked into that room that looked exactly like the room at the end of the movie.
Yes.
Oh my
We
god.
were looking for an exit and we walked into this.
We
door.
saw a late night. Well, not late night, but the last one.
It was
like
midnight.
it was like 9 something,
Yeah,
10 o'clock when we
Yeah.
saw
We
it.
left at midnight.
Oh
But
wow.
the film was it was just my brother, myself, and a cousin of ours,
Uh-huh.
and we all decided,
Crystal
hey,
was with us.
no, it was just me, you, and Bobby.
Uh-huh.
Crystal was with us. I'm sure of it.
Well, the movie ended. It was late. We were the only ones in the theater. Well, we decided to exit through the exit door that led back into the
In the
main.
front, you know, the one by the screen.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, wait. First, we decided to go out the main way, and the door was locked. So
my
we're like,
God.
"What the hell? How, we're locked
That's
in
right,
here?"
That's right.
Yeah.
So we started freaking out because we were the only ones in the theater. It was dark already. So we went out the back door. Well, there was the regular exit door right next to the screen. We walked out, and all of a sudden we were in this room that looked exactly like the room in the final scene.
That's scary.
Cinder block,
Cinder
dirt
block,
floor,
wood,
Yeah.
dust. I mean, it was
Talking-
freaky as hell. And then the exit door to get out wouldn't open. So we sat there and we just like jiggled it for like a minute or two until we finally got it open. That was really scary. So yeah.
That's insane.
Mind you,
But
the theater we saw it in was like a theater out of like Escape from LA. You know, it looked
Yeah.
like trashed and just
yeah, trash everywhere.
old velvet that was just completely faded.
Pam
and
Grier just walking around.
yeah.
No, I mean, obviously, I'm not a huge fan of the found footage genre, but I mean, there's some movies that I think are just amazing within it. I mean, Last Broadcast, Blair Witch. I love Wreck.
Oh, Wreck was good.
Obviously, not the American remake. I
No.
mean, Quarantine was awful, but Wreck. You know, I think there's some gems hidden in there.
I
But
did
overall, yeah, I'm not a fan either.
I did like The Visit.
Oh, it's great.
The Visit was good. Being well,
That and
Well, the only thing is-
my son stars in it. So,
what?
oh, Dexter's like a twin to that kid.
Oh, he is. He is.
Oh, it's like
that is true.
What's funny is my son Dexter looks like the main, the kid from I think Ed Oxenbould or whatever his name is, of the kid from The Visit. And I took my son Dexter to see The Visit in the theaters, and halfway through it, he was convinced that he starred in the film.
Oh my god.
So after he got out of the movie, he was telling me about the experience of filming The Visit. I was like, dude, it was a joke. You're not in the movie.
All right, here's one for you. Don't go in the woods,
Oh my god.
which translates to don't see this movie if you don't have to.
Right? Don't
This is one of those movies that I have
waste your time on this film.
no idea how it got on this list. The poster for the film
yeah.
is scarier than the movie itself.
It really is, and it's not a good movie, guys.
It's not at all. Why it has the cult following it has, I have no idea. I think it has it because everybody knows what a piece of shit it is.
Yeah.
And it's such a piece of shit that we're going to end the discussion about it right here.
Don't go in the woods. Goodbye.
All right, Driller
Don't go
Killer.
into detail about this film.
Driller Killer, the one that started it all.
Great movie. Abel Ferrara.
I saw this movie for the first time
Yeah.
recently, about
Yeah.
maybe 5 years ago.
Uh-huh.
I'll tell you how I saw it. My cousin and I were up late one night,
Yeah.
and we were flipping the channels. It was probably about 2:30 in the morning. This movie showed on my what is it? What is the name of that network?
Me TV.
No, it's called My Network. The My Network. Was,
Thriller Killer.
yeah,
Really?
it was on the Sanger affiliate 7.1,
Wow.
and I
Such
recognized
an interesting movie to play on one of those channels.
it had just started. And I saw, the graininess, and I saw Abel
Yeah.
Ferrara, and I'm like, "Is this Driller Killer?" So we sat
You're like, how many close-ups does this movie have?
right. Yes. Well, come to see that it was completely uncut.
Yeah. Wow.
Uncut. We even got the alternate version where at the end, the very end,
Yeah.
where the screen goes red.
Mhm.
We got it where the screen goes black.
Wow.
That was my first foray into it, and it was really good. I really
I
liked
love
it.
that movie.
It's a little less violent than what it's made out to be.
Oh, it's because of the poster.
I mean, the couple of scenes where the drill is actually used is kind of like pretty cool.
Yeah.
But it's more of a punk art film. There's a lot of
most
punk
definitely.
music in it.
Yeah.
Abel Ferrara was in a punk band. The music's really good.
Yeah.
And I think that's probably what it's most known for.
Have you seen the new Arrow release of it?
No, I haven't.
Yeah, I have it. It's great. It has a new interview with Abel Ferrara, and he's... I mean, I could be wrong, but he seems pretty coked out of his mind.
We have this movie to thank for the whole video nasty thing.
Oh,
if it wasn't for
yeah.
Drug Killer, none of this would have probably happened.
Yeah.
Well, it probably would have happened, but not as intense as it was with this one.
Yeah.
All right, here's one of our favorites.
Here we go.
Evil Speak.
Oh, my God. Clint Howard. God bless you.
Evil Speak is one of those movies that I stayed away from as a kid because we heard
Satanic Panic.
so satanic.
Yeah.
Okay. One day I
Makes
decided to
sense,
get over it
Yeah.
and rent it. Oh my God, it's so much
It's
fun.
gnarly,
It is
man.
so much fun.
It is
so much fun.
but it's intense.
It's Boy Carrie.
yeah.
Pretty much. It's Boy Carrie.
Times 40.
The only thing is, this kid...
Carrie's
well,
a lightweight compared to
Yeah, well,
Clint Howard
the
and
difference
Evil
between
Speak.
these two is Carrie is telekinetic. This guy has Satan on his side. Like,
Yeah.
literally.
Yeah.
That's
He's-
what my 4th grade teacher said about me.
Okay.
This other kid's telekinetic, but Jerry,
He has Satan on his side.
I mean, come on. I mean, I don't like to say it, but I mean, I'm going to say it because it's true. How cool is a movie where a kid gets picked on, stumbles across an old Commodore 64, and finds out that I can summon the devil through this Commodore 64
Yes.
and get these motherfuckers who have been teasing
I
me.
And that's why there's no Commodore 64.
right.
Yeah.
I went through a similar experience when I summoned the devil through Super Scope 6.
I tried to do it with the Game Glove.
Right? The Power Glove. I love that thing, man.
But the movie is so great. I mean, it's pretty. It is. I mean, why lie? It's pretty satanic. It is.
yeah.
But it's so much fun, though.
Oh, I love that
so
movie.
much
God
fun.
bless
It's-
Scream Factory for putting that on a Blu-ray.
Yes. Now I can see why that one was on the list. I'll give
Yeah.
the list that.
Yeah.
This one's pretty intense, but it's so great and it's so much fun. And I still have yet to see another movie made with this same type of story.
Yeah.
What, the Ninth Gate wasn't good enough for you?
Ninth
sorry,
Gate,
I
like Johnny
refuse to
Depp
acknowledge
movie,
that
the
movie.
Polanski movie. I love that movie.
Well, then you should know that we dubbed it when we first saw it the Ninth Suck.
What?
It's
You don't like the Ninth Gate?
I didn't care for it. I didn't. I'm gonna be honest. I didn't.
To me,
It was a little too slow.
Well, it's supposed to be
I
that
don't
movie.
know. It just.
It's definitely a slow burn kind of thriller.
Yeah.
But I
know.
did love John Turturro in that movie. Am I thinking about The Secret
You
Window?
were thinking
Here's
I'm
about-
thinking Secret Window.
Yeah, Secret Window.
Damn.
No, this
Yeah.
has
This is like Frank Langella,
Yeah.
Johnny Depp,
Okay, now I
Lena
remember.
Olin.
Sorry, I tried to be cool there for a second and
It's
backfired.
okay. John Turturro is great in everything, just not the Ninth Gate.
So here's an 80s flashback for you. How
for it.
many times did you go into video stores as a kid
Yeah.
and run into Faces of Death?
So many times, and I was terrified to watch it every time because, I mean, that was like the legend at school was like, oh no, you're going to watch this and it's real people getting murdered.
I remember those. And
You know
it's
what I mean?
Yeah.
some of them, when I first watched my first one, I think I was probably 17 at the time. I mustered up the courage to sit through the first
That
one.
was 1974, right? I'm just joking.
I gave him the finger, mind you guys. I was kind of let down
Oh yeah.
because I was expecting so much, and I'm like,
Yeah.
why do I want to see newsreels?
Oh, totally.
Why do I want to see stage stuff? Out of all of that, maybe 40% of it was maybe legit.
Yeah.
And because of that, I did not get to see the other 14 volumes.
of them. Yeah, it's like Faces of Death, volume 400.
I could kind of see about that one too because
Faces of Death to College Years.
Yeah.
what are you just saying? Saved by the Bell?
Faces of Death, Nightmare Cafe.
House by the Cemetery.
Yeah. I love that movie.
There's raising the posters on my wall.
Yeah. No, I'm a big fan of that movie, actually.
I think it sucks that isn't it now like in the public domain where anybody can just put it out now because
I'm not
I've seen
sure.
so
Is
many releases of it
Really?
On,
And
like,
what?
on like budget DVDs, like
Wow.
the ones you find in the bin at the dollar store. Yeah,
Really?
I think
House by the Cemetery?
yeah.
At
And
like
it's
the
a
Dollar
great
Tree.
movie. That's one of
It's
Matt's
like Dementia
favorites.
13 and House by the Cemetery.
Something like that. Yes, it was something
Yeah.
like that. Yeah.
And like
One
Two-Eyed
of
Jacks or
Fulci's
One-Eyed
best.
Jacks or whatever.
Now this one was a drive-in staple where we lived in the late '80s or in the mid
Was
'80s.
it?
Yes, there was here. I'm going to give you a flashback. Westmer Drive-In.
Wow.
It was behind a flea market in Mercedes, Texas, and it showed for a really long time. People actually were coming to see this movie from all over the valley. It was really really neat.
interesting.
Yes, and then there was another drive-in. I want to say it was in Olmito
Yeah.
that showed it also because it was like a really weird kind of hit where we lived at the time when we were really really young. And every time I see that poster, I think of the Westmore Theater with the big poster of it right next to the entrance where you come in. And it was always a double bill with either that or, what's that movie with James Earl Jones? Blood Tide?
I haven't seen that.
Or Midnight.
Lion King?
Oh my God. No. I've seen Blood Tide once. That wasn't it wasn't very good.
Anytime I think of House by the Cemetery, I always think of Ted Gagan's We Are Still Here because he was very inspired by like Fulci and those kind of movies with that one.
House on the Edge of the Park.
See, I'm not too familiar with that one. I've seen it maybe
Really?
once, like a long time ago, but yeah, just once.
Really?
Yeah.
I love that movie.
Uh-huh.
That movie is so great because the bad guys get it in the end, but it's so sleazy. It's so sleazy.
No, you mean
Half
they
the
get it
cast
at the
of,
end of the movie, or they get it in the end? Like, what are you talking about here?
They get it at the end of the movie. Like they get.
Okay.
But I love that most of the cast is from Cannibal Ferox. Oh, I love it.
Uh-huh.
And it's David Hess basically
Yeah.
a different incarnation of Krug.
Krug, yeah.
That's
I remember
basically
that.
all it is. It's the same character, whatever. But this movie was so frowned upon in the United Kingdom
Uh-huh.
to the point where it has a release now, but it's so severely cut
Mm-hmm.
that these group of scholars actually wanted to take it before the BBFC and a higher court to prove that this particular film had merit as far as British filmmaking was concerned.
Wow.
And basically, the court said, fuck you, we're not doing it, and you're not getting it. That's why it's never seen a full uncut release here.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that, was it Shriek Show? Shriek Show put out the full version
Really?
about 10 years ago,
Uh-huh.
and I got my hands on it. What a great movie. We should see that one sometime, me and you. I think
that'd
really,
be great. I'd love to watch.
really
that
like
again.
it. And to watch, one, it's got one of the greatest Italian disco songs as its main theme ever.
Mm-hmm.
It's by Riz Ortolani, who also did Cannibal Holocaust.
Yeah.
Great music, and the movie's actually a lot of fun. There's some parts that get a little intense, but it's mostly psychologically. Like from what I remember, there wasn't any like gore violence, but there's a lot of
Messing with your head.
a lot of it.
Yeah.
And there's a nice little twist at the end, because the whole thing is where at the beginning of the film, David Hess meets this girl. He bangs her in a car outside of some random place. He kills her. Well, after killing her,
Well, that's not good.
he goes and picks up his buddy, and they decide to go on the town. So they crash this party, and that's where all the mayhem begins.
Yeah.
Well, there's a nice little twist at the end that actually I thought was really satisfying. But the reason why it's on the list is because of that. It's what the British called it back then was sexual violence.
Okay.
That's what was not allowed. Sexuality was okay, but if you did it in a violent manner, it was a no-no.
That sounds like a great chick heavy metal band. Sexual violence.
What's up, everyone? We're Sexual Violence. Let's fucking rock.
That's right.
Is that the same band as
Sexual Chocolate?
Yeah.
This is my band, Sexual Chocolate.
I believe the children are.
Okay, here we go to the next one. I Spit on Your Grave.
I'd love Coming to America.
So here we go with I Spit on Your Grave.
Yes.
This one
I love that.
deserves to be on the list.
I love that movie.
I like that.
Trivia.
Cuts off his dick in the bathtub.
I want to say it's
Bite it off?
Is it
Cuts it
Scotland?
off.
Is it Scotland or Ireland? I want to say it's Ireland. Where to this day you
Cuts
still
off in the
cannot.
remake.
You still you still cannot buy the movie. It's
In
still not
Scotland?
allowed to be. Yeah, it's still banned.
Ewan McGregor, change that shit.
Yeah.
It's the IRA.
Yeah.
Now, the only thing that's really, really bad about this movie is, of course, the rape scene.
Well, no. Okay, the rape scene is awful.
Well, what gets everything started?
Every rape scene is awful in this movie because there's multiple ones. Like she gets raped and then she goes in the woods and she gets raped again and blah blah blah. What I think is awful about this movie is how Miyazaki approaches it. Very comical at times. Like it's interesting.
You mean like sticking the special boy in there?
Well, that and like I don't know. Like, I Spit on Your Grave. It's one of my favorite films of all time. But at the same time, there's so many interesting choices in like the approach and the aesthetic to the film that I to this day I find like really interesting and like odd. It's weird.
I like that movie because it you sit there and you see what a human being can do when pushed far enough.
Oh, definitely.
You know, and that's one thing I love about it.
Yeah.
And
it's also not over the top.
I mean,
bad acted.
No,
Yeah.
it's not.
You see
It's
it,
not.
and if you didn't know, you might think it was like somebody recording it.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
It's kind of fly in the wall.
It's not a
and-
fun movie. It's not
No.
an enjoyable one. And
No.
if you're expecting to have a good time with it, you're not gonna.
That and
It's like,
I mean,
it's like Jack Daniels, basically.
oh, totally. And I mean, aside from like Camille Keaton, not many of the other people really went on to do a lot
nothing.
of films after that.
Nothing.
Yeah.
And I got to, earlier last year,
Last year, yeah.
I got the privilege of getting to meet her and talk to her about
Yeah.
it. And I'm
remember
really
that.
excited for the sequel. For the sequel that should be coming out any day now.
Yeah.
I forgot what it's called. I Spit on Your Grave, Deja Vu. Deja Vu is what it's called.
Yeah, it's Camille Keaton and I think Jamie Bernadette's in that
And
film.
Miyazaki kids are in it too.
Really? I didn't
yeah,
know that.
uh-huh.
Wow.
Yeah, I know his son is in there for sure.
Yeah.
But I heard somewhere that his daughter was in it. But
Interesting.
yeah.
I saw a screening at the New Bev in LA once. It was before the remake came out. It was of the original and the remake together, and Miyazaki was there.
That would have been cool to see.
Yeah, and I had to pee, so I went to the bathroom to urinate, and I pushed the door on the way out and accidentally hit Miyazaki in the face.
Oh, you did tell me about that. Yeah.
I knocked him down. I'm like, I'm sorry, sir. He's like, oh, it's okay. He doesn't sound like Mario. Sorry, guys.
Mario.
It's on me, Miyazaki. No, yeah, and I helped him up. I felt really bad, but yeah.
Yeah, this one still to this day, it
It's
still packs its
crazy.
punch. It packs its
It
punch.
does.
It's one of the few films that was made so long ago that you can watch it now and it's still relevant,
Mm-hmm.
and it still will freak you out. Like for me, I can't stand the scene post castration
Yeah.
where she does her thing. She's sitting in the living room while he's screaming upstairs, and then the next scene it shows the guy's wife,
Yeah.
the guy's 2 kids,
Yeah.
and the crony that was with him beforehand, and she's asking where he's at, and the guy's like, I have no idea, and she gets all pissed off because she's like, oh, every time he's with you guys, he's in some kind of trouble, and you're sitting there thinking as the spectator, holy shit,
castrated.
I know what the hell happened to him,
Yeah.
and she doesn't, and you sit there with this, well, at least I did, with this feeling in the pit of your stomach like, okay, ew. Like, not one scene in the entire movie did that to me the way that did. To see somebody else die like that, and anyway.
Oh, no, I agree 100%.
All right, let's go to the next one because this could get really lengthy. Island of Death.
I've got a confession. I've never seen Island of Death.
What?
Never.
Even after I reviewed it for you oh my god.
I didn't watch it.
All right, here we go. So it's this man and this woman.
Yes.
They go to the island of Mykonos,
Oh, Mykonos. Yeah, classic.
and they wreak havoc on the island.
Yeah.
Okay. Some of the most bizarre shit you will ever see in a movie.
Okay.
It's like,
More than
what?
Blank Man?
What?
Wow.
Or Blank Man with Damon Wayans?
You know, I never got to see that.
Oh, no. Okay, go ahead, Island of Death.
Well, everything from sticking a gun in a gay guy's mouth, chasing his lover through the streets of Mykonos while he's in a see-through caftan, if you want to call it that.
Classic Mykonos.
A burning by means of hairspray can.
What?
Aquanet?
Oh my god. And there's so many of these scenes that take place at night,
Yeah.
but they're shot for night. So it's absolutely horrible. The thing that gets me with this movie is, okay, these people, the dude was, here's the best, well, not the best part, but there's a scene where the main character is trying to, like, find something to screw, and he meets this old lady.
Been there.
Well, the old lady is so into him, and he's kind of not.
Yeah.
Well, he starts to piss on her.
What?
Drip, drip, drip.
I thought my dad was the only person doing that.
in hopes of turning her off, but yet she ends up getting like really aroused by it once more. Dude, it's so freaking crazy.
What? Why have I missed this film? Like
No.
Trapped in the Closet,
The
part 40.
ending, the revelation of it all is where your jaw will hit the floor because you don't see it coming, and I don't want to tell you because I want you to see it.
Yeah.
But to any of you that have
You
seen
had
this,
me at piss on someone.
well, the ending. I'm just going to give you this much. The ending has to do
I'm
with
so into it right
with
now.
a sheep herder.
What?
And
I want to see it now.
All I'm going to say is a sheep herder and butt sex. That's all I'm going to tell you.
A sheep herder and buck sex.
B-U-T-T, butt sex. It is the most bizarre film you'll ever see. And I just want to say the cool thing is, but when I got when I got the Blu-ray for it and I reviewed it, the original director, is currently, because what he does is he takes you on all the shooting sites there in Greece where they made the film. Well, at the end, he announces that there is going to be a second movie.
Really?
Yes, I
Did
don't know
they
if that's
ever do it?
I don't know. I haven't really looked it up to see, but in a way, I hope they do because I kind of want to see how this turns out. All right, next one. Last House on the Left. Oh my God, we could be here all day with that.
Okay, Last House on the Left, the original film.
I love this movie so much.
I don't have a single complaint about that movie, but I will say that I do feel like it warrants being on that list.
Yes.
It's a movie that I love with a passion. It's one of my 10 favorite films of all time. But with that being said, every single time I watch it, it messes me up.
It's brutal. It's very brutal.
It's brutal. And I love the remake. I'm actually a big fan of it.
Really?
But with that being said, I don't think there will ever be a film that hits me as hard as the original Last House.
No, there'll never be a film like Last House on the Left. No. And that's why, warranting being on this list, I think every horror fan should watch it.
Yeah.
Because it's very, very gritty.
Yeah.
It's very visceral, very raw.
Piss your pants.
And it shows what kind of talent Wes Craven had so young.
Yeah.
I mean, this guy had something to say. Even though, again, we'll say this again, it was mostly symbolism about oppression of government and all that. Because these kids, I mean, honestly, Craven and Cunningham and Minor, they were all hippies.
Yeah.
So it was basically how they felt about things at the time.
Yeah.
But the way they put it together, it's one
insane.
of those few. It's kind of like I Spit in a Grave, where now, so many years later, it still holds it. I mean, you still watch it and you still feel uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And that's what their goal was, to make you as uncomfortable as possible, to show you what the reality of it was.
There was a release, I can't remember who put it out, that I bought, I don't know, a good 7 or 8 years ago. Maybe even longer.
And I think it was a 3-disc. I think it was a 3-disc release.
The British one, yes.
Yeah, I used to own that. And it had multiple versions of the film and all
It had
that
Krug
stuff.
and Company, the original
Krug and Company,
Last House Left. It also had the documentary. I think it was Going in Pieces. I could be wrong.
I don't remember what
They
they
had
had.
the third disc was a documentary about slasher films.
Oh, I mean, the one by, what's his name? I can't remember. His
Can't
name.
remember, but
I have that one. I know what you're talking about.
love Last House on the Left.
Yeah, me too.
It's shocking, it's brutal, it's in your face, but I think it's everything that makes the horror genre completely unique and interesting.
I agree.
It's not safe whatsoever.
Nope. And if you're expecting a good time, you might as well stay away from it.
Yeah, and if you do have a good time with this movie, commit yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
All right, next one. One of my favorites for different reasons. Nightmare. Or as the British call it, Nightmares in a Damaged Brain.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow. I almost said bow because I was so fucking taken back by
I'm
Nightmare.
sorry. This movie is a freaking roller coaster.
Yeah.
The first 30 seconds of the film pretty much tell you how this is going to turn out.
Yeah.
This is one of those.
They don't pretend. It doesn't pretend to be anything other than what it is.
Yes.
Yeah.
Romano Scavolini, I don't know if he was out to say something with this movie, but if he did, he said it loudly.
Oh, definitely.
This
Scream
particular,
from the rooftops kind of thing.
yeah. If you've ever seen this movie, you know exactly how dirty, how grimy, how just reprehensible it is. I mean, this is one of those few films where if you don't need a shower afterwards, you need to see a psychiatrist. I mean, you do.
Mm-hmm.
This was one of those that had its reputation as we were kids. I remember seeing this in grocery stores and being terrified to even go near it.
Yeah.
You know, and when I finally got a hold of it, I got an uncut version on VHS off of eBay a long time ago, and I finally sat and watched it. Like, I was completely shocked
Yeah.
on how immensely brutal and bloody it is. I mean, this movie does not play whatsoever. And it's an easy story. It's about this man who was under medication experimental medication for his mental problems. And he takes this, I want to say it's across the country, but he takes this trip, and along the way he does all these murders. Yeah. And when you find out at the end what caused him to be this murderous person, it's a freaking trip.
Yeah.
And this movie's so bloody, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, this is the only entry on the Video Nasty list where a distributor went to jail.
Wow.
For distributing it. I think he put it out with 10 or 12 seconds of more footage than he was allowed to by law, and he got in prison for like a year and a half. I mean, this movie is not a good time either. But if you want to see something really, really gory and just really sleazy, this is your way to go. And I still think even now, I don't think it's been released in the UK completely uncut like we have here. Like Code Red's version, oh my god. It's got like the 3 different versions on it. It's fantastic. If you like this movie and you haven't gotten your hands on the 3-disc or the 2-disc version from Code Red, you should. It's really great.
I've only seen that movie I think maybe twice in my life. I'd love to watch it again.
That's one of the first movies that Matt and I watched together.
Really?
He freaked out. He was like, this is really, really weird. All right, we're running out of time here, so we're going to go through the last couple really quick. Snuff.
Oh my god, that movie.
Piece of shit.
Yeah, I'm not a fan.
I'm going to give you the rundown really quick. Snuff started the whole urban legend about snuff films, which we'll get into in another episode. Basically what the movie is it's a movie called Slaughter that was made in South America that didn't do very well. Roberta Finlay and her husband bought it, decided to re-release it, but said, hey, let's get some publicity and let's get some attention.
Yeah.
Let's stick a fake real death on the last 5 minutes of the film. And so basically you see the movie Slaughter, it's a piece of shit. Oh my god, it's so horrible.
At all.
Well, all of a sudden the film, right when you're going to buy, because it has to do with like a gang, a satanic gang or whatever, right when you're going to find out what exactly is going on with all these guys, the movie completely stops abruptly, and it goes into like this room where there's a cameraman, and they have this girl, and they take her and they put her on a bed, and they start dismembering her. Oh my god, dude, it's so laughable.
No, it's awful.
It's so fake.
It's awful. It's not a good movie whatsoever.
No. And the funny thing is, the distributors of this movie decided, hey, we're going to get some publicity out of this. So they decided to like, hey, I'm going to hire 5-10 guys, and let's pick it outside the theaters where this movie was shown at.
Backfired.
And it backfired.
Yeah.
I mean, Women's Against Pornography and all these feminist, all these feminist organizations actually stepped in, and they made it so big that it gave the movie the publicity it wanted.
Yeah.
But I think they cracked down on it, and they got forced to like stop showing it or something like that. The movie's a piece of shit. It is. It is such a crappy movie that when Blue Underground released it, I think it was in 2004 or 5, they released it in a cover that looked like a paper bag. There's no menu. They didn't even waste time on it. They said, you know what, we're just going to put this out on a DVD and just sell it. There's nothing fancy on it. When you put the DVD in the player, the movie starts.
Very bare bones.
I mean, if you want an example of a bare bones DVD, especially by a big company, look at this movie. I think somebody, I can't remember who put it out. Was it Blue Underground re-released it with a bunch of extras on it? I want to say it's Blue Underground.
Back.
About 2 or 3 years ago.
Yeah, I think so.
I haven't gotten my hands on that one. I might do it just for the behind-the-scenes stuff and all the, the trivia and the documentaries about it. Because the film itself, it's not worth it. It's not worth it. It's a piece of crap. But if you get, and it was marketed as real, that's why it was on this list, even though it's fake as hell. All right.
Totally.
Next one. Tenebrae.
Love it. It's weird. I love it.
I have so much to say about Tenebrae.
Go for it.
We could do a whole episode just on Tenebrae. I think it's one of Argento's masterpieces.
It's great.
It's amazingly wonderful. It is very cutting edge. It has, in my book, the best horror ending ever. So many films after borrowed from it. I'm looking at you, Raising Cain.
I love that movie, by the way.
Tenebrae is so great. It's not as violent as you might think it is, but there's a lot of sexual violence
Yeah,
in that
there is.
film, which is why I got on this list. I
Yeah.
mean, there's a transvestite in it. There's lesbians in it. I mean, all the stuff that our general like pushed buttons about back in the 80s. And when this movie was released in the U.S., a lot of you know it was severely cut,
Yeah.
given a different title. And the funny thing is, I saw this video cassette in the stores under its unsane name. Never would have thought it was Argento. Never would have thought anything. I never rented it.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't pick it up until after I found it. I think it was a couple weeks after I saw Suspiria for the first time. I saw it in a video store, and I didn't even know what it was.
Yeah.
I just saw his name. I took it home. I was blown away. It's probably one of my favorites of his.
Do you remember that time we went to Days of the Dead, like a good year ago or something like that? And the whole time, the only thing I could think about was like, man, I gotta find that new Steelbook of Tenebrae.
Oh,
Like,
I
that
don't
was
have
like
that yet.
that was the only thing that I was like on a mission to find that, and I ended up having to buy it online for like
I'm
too
looking
much
at
money.
the Laserdisc album on my wall that the Rowan Group put out in the early 90s.
Oh yeah, yeah,
This is one of those that has the alternate ending with the music.
yeah.
Where it's got like, it has like an Italian pop song at the end.
Mm-hmm.
And I love it. If you guys ever get to have, if you have time, if you love the movie, Google it. I think they have it on YouTube. The song is so great.
Yeah.
What happens at the end, and then juxtaposed with this really soft, poppy song, is really eerie.
Mm-hmm.
And I wonder why they didn't put that in the DVD, if I'm not
That's
mistaken.
interesting.
I don't think it's on there. Last one, because we're cutting it close here. Fulci Zombie.
Oh my god, that movie. That movie messes me up every single time I watch it.
I'm sorry. I love.
It's hard. It's hard for me to watch.
And those of you who don't know me very well, and I'll say it here because it's the truth, I am not, in any way, shape, or form, a zombie fanatic.
No, I hate zombie
I can't
films.
stand zombie movies.
Walking Dead's a
I don't
pile of
watch
shit.
Walking Dead. None of that
Yeah,
does anything for me.
not at all.
I've tried. I tried.
I'm the same exact way.
But Fulci Zombie, I can watch over and over again. I don't know why.
It's great. It messes me up every time. It's so like in your face, and I love it. But yeah, that movie, it's great.
Well, hold on. I'll take that back. I do like Dawn of the Dead. I do.
Well, I mean, there's
for a different
some
reason,
like, there's some like there's films in the zombie genre that I like. I like
Dawn of the Dead.
I like Day of the Dead. I like Return of the Living Dead. Return of the Living Dead 3 is one of my favorite zombie movies of all time. But with that being said, like I'm just over it. I don't think it's that interesting. The whole idea of zombies
Yeah,
just
me
doesn't
neither.
do it for me whatsoever.
But there's like, I don't know, dude. There's like and I hate to say it this way, but there's like an innocence to that movie.
Yeah.
Full cheese, that you just can't help but love it.
No, it's great.
For me, I have a detachment to it because it was, again, with The Burning, one of the very first horror images I saw. And out of all the stuff you see in my office here and everything that you can look at, that is the only zombie thing I have up, period.
Mm-hmm.
Because I have that attachment to it. And when I first got to see it, it was really, for me, it was brutal.
Yeah.
It was like, okay, what if that really happened?
Yeah.
What if, a policeman went to a boat they saw in a lake somewhere and there was, a zombie that came from somewhere else and all of a sudden infected everybody. And, you guys know the story. So just for the gore, and the gore is actually really good in this movie. It's
very
not
good.
overdone. It's not, stomach churning. It's perfect.
Yeah.
And it was on this list for good reason. I think they finally released this uncut, though. I think when Blue Underground put it out, I think it was probably the last decade or so, it finally got released uncut.
Yeah.
But all right, guys. So we're at the end of this episode. I really thank you guys for listening. We had such a great time.
Yeah, definitely.
This episode we did the 39 prosecuted. Our next episode is going to be the 33 non-prosecuted. And if you know that list, we're going to have a lot of fun. So I really thank you
Definitely.
guys for joining me, Jerry.
Thank you.
Once again, we had such a blast
That
together.
was great.
So if you guys keep listening, once again, if you guys really love the show, share it on your Facebook page.
Subscribe.
Tell a friend about it. We're having a lot of fun. I hope you guys are too. So until our next episode, I'll see you guys later. Until next time.